Philadelphia Temple University, you already know what it is. You're listening to PowerHour Muzik on WHIP Radio, Temple University's own student-run college radio station. You know who it is, man. I'm your man Tone, alongside my guy
DJRyanMahoney.
And we here down at the Fillmore in Philadelphia with a very, very special guest, sir. Why don't you introduce yourself?
What's up, Temple University? This is Marc E Bassy.
What's going on, Mark? It's a pleasure that you're here with us, and we came down to you guys. And, you know, before we're getting started, just for all of our listeners, for all the fans out there, what are 3 things you want them to know about Marc E Bassy that they might not already know, that they know, anything?
You should know that you spell my name M-A-R-C, E is my middle initial, and Bassy is my last name, B-A-S-S-Y. Marc E Bassy. That's number 1. Number 2, I tell stories in all my songs about my real life. And number 3, I'm from the Bay Area.
There you go, man.
California.
The West Coast.
My mom's from Pittsburgh, though. It's kind of like, I don't know if it's like a Philly rival, but, you know,
Yeah,
there's some Pennsylvania, maybe a camaraderie that I can be a part of. I got shut down.
So you were a part of a band, 2 a.m., correct?
2 a.m.
Correct.
Club, yeah.
Yep. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I was reading an interview, and you said you had started rapping before you actually started singing. So I was wondering if you had any inspirations in the hip hop scene for your sound before all of that.
Yeah, most definitely. I grew up primarily listening to hip hop music, like Bay Area rap music a lot, and then also just like normal like pop, hip hop, like whatever was huge at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the same high school as Tupac, so Tupac's always like everyone's favorite where I come from. So I mean, yeah, hip hop's been everything. Even though I was making pop music, it was sort of my way of not appropriating culture too much. I'm like, I feel like I'm in my age range. It's like a generation right before like the huge wave of just like anyone is cool rapping. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of like when I was like growing up, Eminem was like the only white dude rapping, and he's like one of the greatest rappers period ever. You know, it's kind of like without a doubt in a certain way. And for me, I didn't really feel like I didn't want to just be hard and start gassing. I kind of wanted to like start off kind of singing and finding another way to express myself, just because all I wanted to do was rap, and that's like what I listened to, but at the same time I didn't feel like a rapper. So I knew I wanted to do music, so my band and singing was kind of my way to go about that, and it brought me to here, and now I do both. So
there you go.
I like it.
What age did you start working with music?
I started like when I was 18. So, like right at the end of high school.
So, you've been involved with music since you're 18.
I'm 28, so 10 years.
So, a long time.
Yeah.
How is balancing college with a music career?
I didn't go to college. Well, I did for a little bit, almost like a semester plus and some change at UC Santa Cruz, but we're all famous banana slugs. It's like, but me and Count Bassy went there too. So I don't know, you know, like kind of growing up in music and like going through my 20s in music has been a crazy ass adventure. And just to see where it's taken me, it's had ups and downs. I kind of feel like I went to college without going to college. But it's definitely been a ride. And I'm kind of excited where it's at right now more than I ever have been.
Did you feel like you missed out on anything not going to college, like the quote-unquote college experience, the college parties, any of that? Or with you making music, that's enough?
Because I feel like the way that I actually got my band, like, jumped off was by going to, like, we went to every college in California, up and down the coast, like every sorority, open table meeting, just playing acoustic guitar and singing. And that's how we got our name out there initially. And I was at, you know, all the functions, like playing frat parties or playing just college open mics. I've done all that. So I felt like I was really involved in college culture, and I've always been somewhat of an avid. Is that like a oxymoron? Somewhat avid. I've always read, and tried to like stay up on what I feel like I should be up on academically. So in my college years, I was learning what I felt like my friends who were in college were learning. So it kind of feeds music. You can't just be a dull motherfucker and write songs. Like
Right.
That's super dry to me. If you don't educate yourself, like what's the point of telling other people anything?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I like about your music. You take there's themes from books in a lot of your songs, and you also get like very personal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like feel good music too.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your sound?
I mean, I don't know. Every once in a while, me and Count Bassy try to like pretend like we made up. Do we have a new genre that we've created lately? We try. We try to say it's like, didn't we have a thing?
We had there's that sound from the ground thing. But
Oh, we like calling it the sound from the ground. It's just kind of like I don't know how to categorize it. Obviously, it's hip hop, soul music, and R&B music kind of wrapped up. But also, me and Count are big fans of like classic rock and roll music as well, and big fans of like the Beatles and
Nice.
anything.
Founding sounds.
Yeah, so I like the sound from the ground because it kind of just describes like whatever brought us up, we put into our music.
And piggybacking off of what you said you like to read and be up on what's going on. You wrote a song, Jazzy, which was basically about you. And the song, there was a quote in it, and it said, "Remember poetry class, that's where I became me." So did you have specific poets that influenced your style, or was that class just a place for you to really openly express yourself for the first time?
Well, not to get all deep, but when I was younger, so my dad passed away sort of like traumatically when I was 13, and I was pretty like shook, obviously, but I had a poetry class at the time, and I was really was like 7th grade, and there was this poetry. This is back when like poetry slams were like more socially acceptable. I feel like they're kind of coming back now.
They are, yeah.
But they were super dry for a while. But when I was in middle school, that was like deaf poetry was out. Kanye was doing the shit, so I kind of like saw that. Or I have like the time a little bit mixed up, but slam poetry was like a thing that was cool, that related to hip hop, and that was a way for me to be like, I wanted to rap since I was like 7 years old. So I was like, I don't feel comfortable going up there and really rapping it, but I want to do poetry. And then when I had moved around a lot when I was younger. I lived in tons of different places, tons of different houses, around the Bay Area. My dad had passed away, so it was like a good outlet for me. So Miss Juarez, 7th grade class, that was my teacher. She had me up there, and I remember like the first poem was like, make a poem about and I was not a good student either. She was like, make a poem about your favorite like cartoon character, and it was Mighty Mouse. And so I did a whole thing about Mighty Mouse, and everyone in my class really liked it, and it was really easy for me. And I was like, oh shit, like that's cool, everyone likes that. So then I kept doing it, and then we would have every Friday, we'd have a poetry slam in class. And then I just kept winning them all, these little poetry slams. So then my teacher, she like drove me herself into the city, and into San Francisco, and I was part of this thing called You Speaks Teen Poetry Slam, and I ended up like going to the finals of it in my region, and I was the youngest kid, and
That's awesome.
that was like my first time being on stage, expressing myself, and that's kind of when it all kicked off.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Basically, just off of that, you said you went to open mics, and things are a bit different back then, but the industry has changed a bit. Do you see a big change in terms of like things like YouTube and these online sites where people can push their music? Is that changing the industry in a way?
I mean, it's changed so much. It's like hard for me to even imagine, like, because I was involved in music in the dark ages. Like, I was putting out music before YouTube even existed,
Right.
And when I grew up listening to music, like, you couldn't wear a T-shirt of a band or a name that you didn't fully like know about and identify with.
Gotcha.
Now it's like every motherfucker has like an Iron Maiden t-shirt on because it has, you know, it's like,
shirt.
or whatever, you know, like a rock and roll tee. Like you couldn't even do that when I was little. Like when I was growing up, when I was in middle school, like if I wore something that was considered like an urban brand, like someone would try to fight me. Like an older white kid in my school would definitely be like, "Oh, you think you're black?" And like it was like that. Everyone couldn't just do anything they wanted, and they sure as hell like couldn't just rap. And that's why it was like a big deal when like Eminem came out and all that. Like that wouldn't be a big deal now, you know?
Right.
It's like you could no one even, I feel like we're like post-racial almost in hip hop. We're probably not. I know we're not actually, but the boundary's fully broken.
Definitely, we're definitely moving forward.
Yeah, I feel like I grew up in the era where like that stuff still mattered a lot, and that's kind of the biggest difference I see. Like any rapper I heard when I was little was all about like, is he really about what he's saying?
Yeah.
Is he about, you know, is it real?
Mm-hmm.
Is it real? Is it real? Is it real? Now it's like it doesn't have to be. I feel like ever since Drizzy kind of came out, he just sort of made it about how good are you. It's like he can be the most memed character. Like I was just looking at like his face on a stripper body and like going, and it's like it's just like this is the biggest rapper in the world.
Right.
And I feel like he's like me and him are probably in the same generation where when we were growing up that wasn't the reality. It was like you had to have this aura, but that shit was fake too. You know, like it wasn't. Those guys weren't being serious either. So I like it better now that it's more about. It's more artistic now to me. It's more about what you create, and there's less boundaries. But there's definitely a lot more. Just like anyone can do anything at any time,
Right.
Which is where you get like the. Like Slim Jesus or like whatever things just pop up and get stupid popping for like 5 seconds, and things are a lot more vapid than they used to be because there's not as much like trial by fire, because some can just pop real quick and then die down, but that kind of comes with the territory. And so that was sort of a long-winded answer, my bad, but
No, it's all good.
you can see, I mean, it's just the landscape. And obviously the way people consume music is so much different now too. Like I used to have to practice in a garage when I was a little kid, like playing to get better at music. Now people practice just recording on the computer, making sure their videos look clean. Like no one's tripping about like, I hope me and my guitar player are like in time together. Maybe they are somewhere, but not in hip hop.
And like you just mentioned, that your music has to have meaning, that you like conscious rapping, conscious songs. What would, you know, with society nowadays, there's a lot going on, positive and negative. If you were to write a song right now, what topic in society would you like to discuss or shine some light on?
I mean, when I say I like conscious music, that doesn't mean, I actually don't really like preachy music at all. And I don't really like, oh my God, Flint, Michigan is running out, you know, just tapped into their nasty ass river for water. Like, let me make a rap song about that. That's not what I'm about.
Right.
But when I say I like conscious music, I like music that's aware of itself. Like, I like fucking Meek Mill and I like Chief Keef, and it's not like he can be the most gangster person on record, and I like that shit more than I like someone, you know, the college rapper Flint water crisis rapper,
right.
You know? But I just like feeling like the person is telling me a story that they really feel. And I like a sense of like this artist is being genuine. And that's, you know, soul music, like classic soul music, which is my favorite thing, always has that. That's like the main ingredient that it has to have. It's like, why is Otis Redding the best singer ever? Like, I don't know why. It's not. There's people that can sing all those notes. You know, there's just something about how he speaks to you. It's like he's right there in the moment, and that's what I look for in music. I mean, so it's not like topical. I don't need it to be about a topic. I just need it to be real and come from a real place of emotion. And so, you know, my conscious music is like my day-to-day struggles, and it might be just I drank too much or did too much with some girls or whatever it is, or it might be like I'm overwhelmed by the fact that so many people are fucking being shot by police. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what it is, but as long as it's like true to myself, then I'm cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember your first check for music?
Yeah, hell yeah. It was for 10 grand. I spent it in like 3 weeks. I thought it was gonna last me like 6 months, and I just went out and it was gone hella fast. My manager was like, "So we're gonna do you guys all $10,000 each. Will that be enough to get you through till the new year?" And this was like the end of November, and I was like, just a month. I was like, hell yeah! And I had just got to New York City, and I just blew through it like immediately, and it was gone. And then I had no money, so that was pretty funny. Wow. But it's gotten better since then.
There you go.
There you go.
Has it really, like, you can't do music for money because it's such a rough business, and like there's so many ups and downs. So any successful musician who has money will tell you, like, I've had so much time of not getting any income from this. Like, for me, it's been like, you know, matters of years sometimes where I was living on the edge or staying at other people's houses, couches, whatever. I've done all that shit. So now that I have like a major deal, and you know, G invited me on the big tour, stuff like this, it doesn't, like, people are always like, are you like just having the best time ever? It's like I don't really feel, I feel like upright about it all, because it's like I know that musicians like me have to pay our dues, and so whatever I get is what's coming to me.
I got you. And my last question of the day, like you said, you're on tour now. What has been your craziest tour experience so far? Your most memorable tour experience? Doesn't even have to be now. It could be.
Yeah, no, it is now. Like this, like I have to say, you know, G didn't really have like any particular reason to take me on tour. We did one joint together, and we're from, you know, the Bay, and we're boys, but like he could have taken a lot of people. So just for him to take me out on this is pretty crazy. And like we have this song called Subway Car. It's not out yet, but it has like an epic Count Basie guitar solo in the end of it, and it's like one of those songs everyone like put your lighter up type song. And we played in front of like 10,000 people at a time on this tour, and like every single person just throwing up their phone, like looking at me like, oh my god, like we were just making music at the Boys and Girls Club, you know, in my friend's like little makeshift lab when he wasn't like teaching. That was only like a year ago, so I'm just stoked to be out here. So the whole tour experience is pretty much the best I've had thus far.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.